All right, shout out to the fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, where we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all for being in a live, man. A quick stream hollering at you, man. Much love to you guys. Do me a service, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and by all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. I'm up in this thing, man. We're going to talk a little black and gold, man, on the block broadcast for the fam. Also, just like a broadcast, because we're doing this right before the preview stream that'll be coming up live at 8 o'clock. We got a guest coming on over for Jacksonville Jaguars side to help preview the Saints' second week preseason matchup in the New Orleans Superdome. So also known as, what is it, the Caesars building, whatever it's called. Anyway, let's get on into some of this stuff, man. Shout out to you guys. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Full screen for some of the spam. Sports Illustrated predicts the Saints will finish with their most losses since 1980. A lot of people are feeling the sentiment, a lot of different vantage points or viewpoints on this whole thought process, to be honest with you, fam. Me personally, I've heard people in the comment section saying it's a rebuild, and yes, it is a rebuild, but you rebuild according to your resources. See, it's levels, like you talking levels of understanding, this type of thing. When you talk about building a football team, you don't take the first year to draft defensive players and then the next year to draft drinks. Hey, we're going to get the defensive players this year, and then the second year we're going to get the no. I mean, I don't understand the logic, and you never seen foolishness like that or anything work where they did it in a way where somebody draft offensive players the first year and defensive players the second year. That's stupid. If you build a team, you go and look into the depthness of the team and decide on what areas of the team that you need to address, and then you do it from that. The Saints, people are confusing the rebuild like the Saints is a burnt out team. The reason why the Saints sucked for 4 years is because they stupid ass possum face coach they had here. They didn't have any leadership. That was the main thing. They had a incompetent quarterback on top of the team who kept getting hurt, and they didn't have proper backups there, which is also attributable to the coach. His vision was flawed. He was incompetent. So let's not get that misconstrued with the overall talent level of the team, because the team has all kind of great players on this team, from offense to defense, and the special teams is solid too. So you don't need to use multiple drafts, all this foolishness to build a team. You don't build them just through free agency. You use the draft, you use free agency. You can even pluck people from off practice squads. And most of the people that's on practice squads aren't or inexperienced players. They have veterans on practice squads, 7 and 8 plus year veterans that can come in and help to help the team. So I don't buy into the logic with $20 million attributed to them that they have right now currently, that this type of rebuild. People just be saying the dumbest shit in the world, man. Pardon my French. And the team is going to build according to its resources and the vision that the coach has. If the coach is underestimating the talent of his team insofar as how good his players are, he'll pay for that. He'll pay by way of reality when them same players that he's overestimating, we talking about the backups, get into situations where they have to prove they metal. Then they get their issue. Then you're like, oh my God, I got to get something better. So, I mean, we already know he don't know the team like the team he just got here. He's not going to figure the team out that fast. So the thing is we understand it's a knowledge thing of where the team is. Like, we understand the team. So we know that Landon Young and Lemieux and all these guys, to me, they aren't that good, so we going to see by way of how good of an evaluator that the head coach is. But I still think the man is better than what we had the last 4 years. Anybody better than what we had the last 4 years. So I think that's attributable to what they're looking at in terms of the Saints in a rebuild and us being worse than teams that are awful. No way in the world the Saints going to be worse than some of these other teams out here that they're saying they're going to be the worst team in the NFL. Man, cut it out. I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see where it goes. But then again, they could be right, based on the fact that if you don't recognize and be real about what you got to deal with to build a team, then you're going to have some issues. Reality will wake you and remind you of what you're dealing with. So I'm on that school of thought. I'm on that frame of thinking. And no, they don't build the defense up one move at a time. The defense is getting resources because the defensive coordinator see that he need players. You're not sitting there waiting on Isaiah Foskey. That's why they bring in all these other guys, the Jonah Williams and the brother Martin. They just bring in the defensive lineman. They bring in the defense is doing that because they're not waiting. The defense ain't waiting. The offense is waiting. They have a different patient approach with the backups over there in the players over there. The defense ain't playing that. Daly knows exactly what he wants, and if players are not stepping up, he going to find players. That's the mentality you need to have. There's two different minds happening here. Defensive coordinator saying, hey, man, let me get this. And they saying, okay, look, you can get that. If the offense had that same perspective, they can. And there is talent out there. There's always talent out there to bring on to your team. When teams start cutting players, they'll have players there. You can bring them on. You can trade for players. You can pick people off the practice squads when the time comes, all this kind of stuff. And there's still a lot of good players that's still available in free agency right now. My point is, when your team building, there is no such thing as, oh, there ain't nobody out there. There's always somebody out there. You have a never say die approach and a mindset to accomplish the task. That's the bottom line. That's how winners act. That's how you see Philly and all these other teams. They have the same perspective. That's how you need to move. You know what I'm saying? Facts. So anyway, let's get into it, man. Let's hide into this. I just want to jump off into that, kind of get a little breakdown on that, but let's get into it. This is what they're picking on. Let's see what they're saying. Now, a lot of people say, Q, who cares? Well, I'm kind of putting this in the show logs because when the time comes, I'm going to just pop this up in your face and say, look what they say. Remember they said this? Well, this is a few people that talked about it, and they said that the Saints could be trailing the Cleveland Browns, who was 2-15, for one of the worst teams in football. So that means you'll do worse than what you did last year under Dennis Allen when the Saints went 5-12. Me personally, I don't even think that will be the case. So you can see his prior predictions. He had the Saints 7-10. It was 7-10, 7-10, 9-8, and then 8-9. And then went 5-12. Incompetent head coaching, bad decision making, so on and so forth. That's the first thing you want to change when you get into your team. Now, first of all, this is an article that was kind of penned and put together based on several writers, in particular Connor Orr from ESPN, Sports Illustrated rather. He predicted all the regular season games, just his commentary and the thought process on how the national press view your football team. We're going to go down all this kind of old stuff and get all the way to the NFC South. You can see all this. If y'all want to check this article out, go to Sports Illustrated season predictions. And a guy does a lot of work to do all this picking of teams and puts it together and give you a breakdown. So as we get to the NFC South, as you can see, the NFC South here is, he's picked the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be 12-5, right? 12-5. Got them beating the Saints both times, sweeping the Saints. Got them 12-5. Got the Falcons at 9-8. And by the way, he picked the Falcons to beat the Saints both weeks by week 12 and at New Orleans week 12 and in the season finale in week 18. So the Falcons sweep you, the Bucs sweep you. And then, of course, the Carolina Panthers. I think you split with the Panthers. So they gave you a split with the Panthers. So, yeah, Panthers win in week 10, and then you lose to them in week 15. Of course, they're 6-11. And then you got the Saints going back 3-14. A lot of who that's out there believe say, Q, that's not far off from the truth. You got bad quarterback play, young quarterbacks. It's going bad for you. Me personally, I'm going to just read over this and then we'll go from my perspective on the team. 3-14. Remember, these coming from people that don't follow the team like you do. They don't focus on just the Saints and the intricacies behind the Saints team and the things they need to use or do to win. The Buccaneers 12-5. This may be surprising that I have the Buccaneers ending up with the number one seed in the NFC South, but not when you look at the schedule as a whole. There's some really long stretches of time without something we consider a quality opponent, especially down the stretch, but I also have Tampa Bay logging some big wins against legitimate contenders, just like I did a season ago. Philly, Detroit, Buffalo, all go all the way down the hands of the sneaky deep roster. 12-win season for the Bucs. Translates into Buccaneers have an opportunity to be the fourth straight years of getting it. Then you got Atlanta at 9-8. I feel like the Falcons fans will be unhappy, but the Vikings, the quarterback is all a matter of projection right now. The rest of the offense that we've celebrated as a collection of stars is nothing more than an idea in our heads until we see it. And see it constantly, it's hard to slot this team as a division winner. The Commanders before the bye and a combo of Bills and 49ers after it is a real pitfall for the team to navigate early on and some ramifications for later on in the season. I've snuck in a surprising loss to the Panthers as a kind of classic over our opponent scenario. 9-8. So they finished with a 9-8 record. Carolina 6-11. The predictions are being published, but week 2 of NFL's preseason, got them picked there. He kind of sees, I like the Ted McMillan contested deep ball threat, but I think it's going to take time to get it proficient in traffic. So I have a mix of good and realistic bad. This includes the 3-game winning streaks from 3-5, giving Carolina a winning record for the first time since 2021. And a post-bye loss to the Saints, a team that have slated to be the number one pick next year. 3-14. This could end up as a dicey. He said this could end up as dicey as the time they exercise brought the column a national appeal when the general manager of the Buccaneers confronted me about it. 3 wins and a difficult mark to place on the team, especially with a developing offensive line and a Rolodex of veteran talent. I'm falling into a similar trap with the Saints, assuming they will sell off some assets and prepare for a regenerative draft in 2026, as I did the Buccaneers a few years back. We all saw where that got me. The 3 wins are the product of being unseen and unknown in week 1, being able to outpace opponents, the Patriots and the Panthers, in later weeks with defenses that I feel could be susceptible to Kellen Moore's quick huddle approach. In a few, to me, 3-14, I don't see 3-14. I think the Saints are better than this. A lot of these, well, you got Arizona. San Francisco is a team that's still struggling. And remember, the first 4 weeks, teams are still trying to learn how to play football. Seattle's not a juggernaut as well. San Francisco is still trying to learn. They were bad last year. They're trying to get it together with Brock Purdy. Buffalo could be difficult. The Giants are still a Saints win, in my opinion. New England is still a Saints win, in my opinion. Chicago still struggling with their quarterback situation up against Ben Johnson, the new head coach out there. They having all kind of problems. Week 7, they could change it, but it's still Chicago. Chicago is a dysfunctional football team until we see otherwise. Then the matchup against Tampa Bay will be difficult. The Rams matchup will be interesting. The Carolina game is a win, in my opinion. The Atlanta game, they have to win that one. You can't lose both games in his first season against Atlanta, even if we split with Atlanta. Miami is an intriguing team that I still think the Saints could beat. Tampa Bay, I think we split with some of these teams. Tampa Bay, if they're talking a sweep scenario or something like that, I still say the Saints is tough to beat in the Superdome. We'll see. I can see a scenario where we split with all these teams, to be honest with you, from the NFC South. I can see that. They got the Saints losing to the Jets. The Jets struggle. They got Fields up there, but the Jets haven't really done anything. Tennessee have a rookie quarterback. What make their quarterback situation better than ours when that's not a complete team? It's more than Cam that they need to win games. Will they turn it around by week 17? We'll see. So it's a lot of teams on here that were last place teams, is what I'm saying. These last place teams, in my opinion, not better than my last place team, because my last place team had pieces in place. They needed solid quarterback play. They need really solid offensive line play. What I'm saying is a lot of people see this as something of interest in terms of the Saints. How can the Saints win games this year? Because I don't think Kellen Moore coming to this thing saying, hey, man, we're trying to win and learn. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to win and learn. I don't think anybody with when you look at quarterback situations with what Carolina had when they had drafted the guy, and it's like, this guy is our guy. Coming into what the Saints are doing, that wasn't the case with Tyler Shuck. If Tyler Shuck was the guy, he would have come in it was an open. Kellen Moore said it was an open quarterback competition. It wasn't a competition where you had 2 young quarterbacks dueling it out. He wanted that to see who would be the better one. Even Spencer does it better and opens the season up against Arizona Cardinals, or either Tyler Shuck. Like I said, a second-year quarterback and a rookie quarterback, it's going to take time, and so far as them to get the offense. But with veteran runners and wide receivers around you, you have to be able to not say you feed off their weaknesses or whatnot. It's not about that. It's about the offense wrapping itself around whoever the quarterback is going to be and looking at their best marks and what they like to run. Like, all these quarterbacks have favorite plays that they like to run. All of them do. If you're a good offensive coordinator and QB coach and head coach, that all the quarterbacks, that you will want to be able to give your quarterback the best opportunity by running the stuff that he likes to run, and also providing a strong running attack, a reliable tight end, and a guy that's able to get the ball downfield, because everybody, or you should know, that when you match up, when Arizona or anybody match up with the Saints in a regular season, they're going to be stacking the box to stop Elvin Kamara until the quarterback who's in there can prove that he can beat the defense deep. They're going to stack the box. That's just common football knowledge, right? They're going to stack the box against you until Kellen Moore gets Tyler Shuck or Spencer Rattler, whoever the quarterback is, to open up and get that ball downfield with that track team he running. Cooks, Olavi, Shaheed, getting the ball deep. That'll push them safeties back and open that running attack up. Simple as that. So really the true test is the Saints offensive line. We know that right now they got 2 linemen that's dealing with issues. Trevor Penning has a turf toe. He'll be out at least 3 to 4 weeks. And you have one back of your best center is out for the rest of the season. So you had a veteran you brought in to compete with Trevor Penning, Dylan Redunce, who's had a lot of starts at the guard position. So you might be all right there. But him coming from the reserves, weaken your reserves. So you would then have to go and find better reserves that can be able to come in and play if starters go down. That's the bottom line. But if you don't have the option to not to be able to run the ball if you're going to win games. Because whatever you won't call this, they still got to win. They still got to put wins together. Oh, the heat will be on you. So going back for 5 weeks with an agreeable schedule and winning less than 5 games is unacceptable because it's not a bad team. It's not a bad team. It's actually a pretty good team when they had bad coaches on top of the team. That's what it looks like. So I don't know what most of these people be talking about. I don't know what they watching, man. But man, listen, man, this Saints ain't that bad like that. All right, let's take a look at the 90-man roster, man, tonight. So let's just kind of get this going on right here for the family members. Shout out to John Sigler and the Saints Wire. They're breaking this down. It's been a busy week for the Saints, more than a dozen free agents. You know, they did the scrimmage with the Rams, setting up for the preseason matchup against the Jaguars tomorrow. With just 53 spots available, 90 players exist on those 53, 53 spots are what you're going to need to get to the regular season depth chart. 90 people are currently on the Saints squad. Hunter Deckers got waived. So it's back to 3 quarterbacks. With this order, Rattler, Shuck, and Hayner. You look at the running backs currently. Elvin Kamara, Kendra Miller, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Velus Jones Jr., Cam Akers, Devin Neal, and Marcus Yarns. Now, we know Devin Neal is still dealing with an injury. So the Saints put him on the pup list to kind of reserve a spot for him, right? If he's not ready to go, could they puppy list him? And that saves him for the team. He don't have to go into the waiver wire or all this kind of stuff. I think Marcus Yarns will end up on the cut list. And possibly Cam Akers. Cam Akers hadn't really looked that impressive in there. And Velus Jones Jr., based on what he was doing in these prior games, has definitely moved up. Clyde Edwards-Helaire did a good job for himself in there. Kendra Miller looked decent. If they were to start, and he's making a good listen that Kellen Moore, when he ran offensive coordinator for the Chargers, had 4 running backs. Not only would you keep 4 is because you know that the 4th guy more than likely will have some type of special teams component. And Velus Jones Jr. is also known as a special teams player that returned. But he's also a guy you can use at wide receiver and running back because he has tremendous speed. So having Velus Jones Jr. and guys like Rashid Shaheed on the same team with speed all the way around could help. But it was interesting to see how they used him in the first preseason matchup. So he kind of leaped up over a lot of these other people. All right, into the tight ends. Juwan Johnson, Taysom Hill, and Foster Moreau on the pup list. Jake Stahl, Trayton Welch, Michael Jacobson, Matavo, and Seth Green. We don't know exactly how. We know that Taysom Hill is not going to be ready right away. We thinking Foster Moreau might be there a little early on, but still in all, he hadn't taken any snaps in the preseason, so you're going to just open him up for the regular season. He's a veteran, but he still needs time to kind of get practice and get rolling again. He'll be super rusty. So you can more than likely see that guys like that might not be ready for the start of the regular season. We still got maybe 3 weeks left before we go, so there's plenty of time there to kind of find out who's ready. Jack Stahl is the team's best tight end blocker in terms of blocking. The Saints bringing him in. He's supposed to act more like a tight end fullback kind of guy to kind of go in and block for you in the running plays, this type of thing. Trayton Welch has showed some pass catching. Michael Jacobson. Welch and Jacobson have decent reps, but none of these guys are like really good blockers, and they're just very unproven. Matavo is a 7th round selection, big tight end, but not really making any impressions with the team. Could be more a future option. So we'll see how they handle it. But currently, left tackle, Kelvin Banks Jr., Landon Young, Josiah Raheem, and Barry Wesley. Kelvin Banks has been absolutely ridiculous, but his play has been awesome. Landon Young and the rest of these guys have not really, stepped out, showed me anything. Penning is hurt, so Dylan Radoon stepped in there. Shane Lemieux and Kyle Hergel really hadn't shown me anything. The center position, McCoy. Torricelli Simpkins III has been special on tape, and Mike Panasiuk has been an excellent pickup for. Torricelli has been a good pickup. Mike Panasiuk, who's a UFL center, who is won all kind of awards in these leagues, is a really good cheap signing for the Saints for the center position. You'll compete with Torricelli Simpkins, and Torricelli can play guard as well as center. We'll see how that works. I'm looking forward to that center battle between those guys. Right guard, Ruiz, Hergel, Easton Kilty, nothing really popping there. Fuaga and the rest of those guys, Jonathan Mendoza, they haven't really made their presence felt. Chris Olave, Shaheed Cooks, Cedric Wilson Jr., Mason Tipton, Pettis, Kevin Austin Jr., Donovan Peoples-Jones, Mochi Dixon, and Roderick Daines, who just got signed to the team after they put Bub Means on the IR. So Bub Means is not on this list. He was a drafted wide receiver who had the most potential, I guess, of the group, and the rest of these guys, because the Saints actually drafted Bub Means. The rest of these guys are undrafted guys trying to make their presence felt. Get Cedric Wilson Jr. step up. He made some plays. Mason Tipton's making plays. Pettis is trying to get going, but nobody else from this group is really doing anything to step out. Special teams, Burnett is doing his thing. He leading the battle. Blake Grupe is heading away. And then, of course, you go defensive. Devin Gacho and all these other brothers doing their thing. He going to make the nose tackle technique. Ridgeway, Boyd played well. Could Boyd overtake Ridgeway for the second spot? Tackles, Brian Brissy, Colin Saunders, and Jaden Peavy. Peavy came as a late signee. That's one of the players we talked about that they're trying to improve. Shepard, Jonathan Bullard was also added with Jonah Williams and Vernon Brockton battling for them spots. The edge side, Young, Granderson, Cam. Rump the second has been playing good. Isaiah Foskey is getting outplayed by Chris Rump, Fadil Diggs. Most of these guys are just simply outplaying Foskey, who they're giving them. Foskey is probably going to play a lot of reps for the rest of the preseason to see what he got. Linebackers, DeMario, Pete Werner, Stutzman, Nephi Sewell, DeMarco Jackson, Jalen Ford, Isaiah Stallbird, and Tyreme Powell. We've seen Stutzman ball. We've seen Nephi do well. We've seen Jalen Ford do well. We've seen Isaiah Stallbird step up. So it'll be interesting, man. This to be the year the Saints finally get rid of DeMarco Jackson. Safeties, Reed, Blackman, Howden, JT Gray's hurt. So Jonas Sanker stepping up. Ugo Amadi made some plays. Terrell Burgess is another guy. We've seen a lot of Elliott Davison in the rest of this game. So, Alante Taylor probably won't be seen for the rest of the preseason. So that'll give other cornerbacks an opportunity to step up and step out. And that'll be, we know Kool-Aid, Isaac Yiadom, Quincy Riley, Rico Payton could step up. We've seen Jaden Price, Dallas Beanham. Haven't seen too much of him. And that's who they have right now. So like I said, there's a lot of talent here with this team, man. But at the end of the day, man, you got to take the talent with the leadership of the team and be able to get the absolute best out of your squad. That's what it comes down to. And that's currently all of the 90-man roster that's currently on the roster with the black and gold as we keep this thing moving and grooving. And of course, talking about the rookies, 3 top rookies turning heads at the Saints training camp thus far. Shout out to Saints Sports Illustrated, Kyle T. Mosley, that covers it and talked about things as we get ready to head into week 1. Rookies that's really stepping out, and Saints seemingly struck gold in the NFL draft. This is some of his takes. Here are top 3 rookies who's been balling in camp thus far for the black and gold. Tyler Shuck, he has listed. Bet you I didn't see this one coming. Shuck is the guy to watch, competing for the starting quarterback job right now. Plenty of social media have been clamoring for him to win the job. He looked good in his first NFL action. 5 of 22 for $165. 1 long passing touchdown and an interception. Pick 6, bro. The job is still up in the air, but Shuck made it difficult for the incumbents of Spencer Rattler and Jake Haener to pull away. So he made 1 long passing touchdown and an interception. No, it was a pick 6, the worst type of interception. So yeah, long passing touchdown and a pick 6 interception. That is not a regular interception. Kelvin Banks, Jr., offensive tackle. Banks was the first pick in the 2025 draft and hasn't gotten as many headlines as Shuck. That doesn't mean that he hasn't been good. He has been as good as advertised. So Kelvin Banks has been awesome on the left tackle side. A lot of people seen that. Natural football player. And then Fadil Diggs, Saints final pick in the draft, was selected with the 254th pick in the 7th round. Diggs isn't a big name guy by any means, but he's been steady in camp and has at least given himself a shot at the roster. So these are interesting players to talk about. You have Shuck, mentioning Tyler Shuck. Shuck has been all right. If you look at the tape about Tyler Shuck and how he looked in the first preseason game, Tyler Shuck was really awesome in that first game. He really was. Tyler Shuck was pretty good. If he didn't have the pick 6 interception, he would have had a very solid game. You know what I'm saying? But what's really impressive about Tyler Shuck is how he handled it. He was able to then pick 6, and you could see it in his face when he threw it. He was like, "Oh man!" And then I was like, "Okay, you did it. So let's see how you respond." And the man came back and he guided the team to get the touchdown on the long throw, which was awesome. But he was responsible for 10 points when he was out there. He was able to get the Saints down the field goal range to kick the field goal, and then he threw that deep touchdown to Mason Tipton. He was responsible for 10 points. Spencer Rattler was not. 7 of 11 for 53 yards and a fumble. Not good numbers. But Tyler Shuck will get the start. He will run with the ones, like I said, because the Saints, and it's like I said, it's not really a surprise that the Saints are moving Tyler Shuck in, to get an opportunity with the ones. It's just common sense because it's just his turn. Spencer Rattler was perfect. He threw two touchdowns and 200-something yards when he was in at the ones in week 1. They still would have put him at the 2 in week 2 because they want to see what Tyler can do with the ones, But it is a 2-man battle now. Jake Haener's not even in there, so you'll probably see a lot of the game where the reps are divvied up between Spencer Shuck and Spencer Shuck, Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. Jake Hayner ain't in this battle. He kind of, the first game when he came in, just it was like, oh no, nah, you're gonna be the third quarterback. So, at least he makes the team though as a third quarterback. But it's a Shuck and Spencer battle, ain't no doubt about it. All right, anyway, with that being said, man, I'm gonna get on up out of here, man. I'll see y'all after a while. On here, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and share the show on your social media feed. I'm gonna holler at you in a little while. Much love, and who that to you. Peace.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't right to die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your chain for the championship. Fucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Yeah, running like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Say they gon' beat them Saints. Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that? Who that? Who that say they gon' beat them Saints? Who that?
WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the platform continue to grow. Check out the Pro Shops.